Hey everyone, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel, Tara Talks Books, where we talk everything bookish. So today I'm going to be doing my top 10 books of 2024. I know we are 4 months into 2025, but I definitely wanted to put this out because I did read some good books last year and I wanted to share them with you all. I did end up reading a total of 63 books last year, so I narrowed it down to 10 and I will share those 10 with you. But I will be going from 10 all the way to my number one pick. I do have one honorable mention that I will start with just because it almost made the list. So without further ado, let's get into my honorable mention. So my honorable mention is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. This is obviously a contemporary holiday romance. Which is why I didn't quite make it onto my top 10, just because I feel like there's a very specific time you would read this book. But anyways, I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 star, and now that I think about it, I might give it a 4.5, just because I really enjoyed it and I really do still think about it. But this is about Betty, and Betty flaunts and portrays this elegant lifestyle online as she once was a huge social media influencer. However, Betty is broke and her extravagant lifestyle is a lie. And Christmas is coming up soon with her family, and she feels the pressure to be something she is not. And so when Betty drunkenly puts on a vinyl record for All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey backwards, she ends up summoning the holiday spirit in human form, and that is Hall. And I loved all the silly shenanigans in this book. They get up to so much hijinks. I thought this was a really lovely Christmas book full of magic, perfect for that time of year. I really loved Betty's personality and growth throughout this book. She definitely grows and you get to see who she truly is. And Hall was just a breath of fresh air. This is like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She is the grump and he is the sunshine. And I just loved it. And that is why it is an honorable mention. Next, let's get into my top 10. So starting off with number 10 is Accidentally Compromising the Duke by Stacey Reid. This is a historical romance, and I did give this one a 5 star. So this one follows Adeline, and she is determined to escape an unwanted marriage to a horrible earl. She puts herself in a position to be ruined by a more suitable yet less influential man. However, she goes into the room of the wrong man and is ruined by the Mad Duke. Edmund is the Duke of Wolverton and is looking for a wife to care for his 2 young daughters. He is looking for someone who he's not attracted to which so happens not to be the case of the woman who snuck into his room. He's very attracted to her. So he's just looking for a marriage of almost like convenience to help support his daughters. Obviously, his wife has passed away, and so he's just not looking for love again. He's been there, he's done that, and he doesn't want that this round. However, obviously things change when Adeline kind of stumbles into his room and they're caught together and they're kind of forced into this marriage. He is very much a tortured hero. He never wants to suffer the loss of a loved one again. Again, he lost his wife, and that was very traumatic for him. I loved the chemistry between Adeline and Edmund. I also enjoyed seeing the relationship grow between Adeline and the girls and how she helps bridge the distance that occurred between Edmund and the girls when he was grieving the loss of his wife. Of his first wife. So there was this gap that was put between them because of grief, and she really bridges that for them, and I loved seeing that in a book. You could tell that Edmund just did not feel that he deserved happiness because of the guilt he felt at the death of his first wife. That is a big integral part of this book. I just love this one. The tropes in this one are tortured hero and marriage of convenience. This is another Stacey Reid that I just really loved, and I will read anything Stacey Reid puts out. You guys already know this. Coming in at number 9 is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a historical fiction, and I did end up giving this one a 4 star. I did really enjoy it, And it was one of like maybe the only historical fictions I read this past year in 2024. Definitely need to read more because I do enjoy historical fiction. But without further ado, this follows Carrie Soto, who is a famous, talented tennis player. It starts off with the beginning of her career and then goes into her retirement from tennis. It's kind of an abrupt retirement. Um, and then she comes out of retirement to defend her titles against a like another up and coming tennis player that is about to um, like take all her records away. And because she feels she gave everything to tennis, like her entire life revolved around tennis, she feels like she has to come out of retirement and defend those titles. So that is what she does. And so she kind of feels like without these titles, who is she? And you really see a lot of character growth in this book. It does, like I said, it goes through two timelines of like her original career in tennis and then her like comeback. And I really enjoyed seeing Carrie grow as a character throughout this book. It kept me intrigued to see how the story would end up. Because Carrie comes off as an unlikable character in the beginning. You can definitely tell that she is like a strong female character, but she just doesn't give a you know what about what people think about her because whatever she does is going to be something that people don't like. And you could consider her like abrasive, but she has to be in this sport and she has to be during this time period. And so I really liked seeing that because I liked Carrie as a character. I loved seeing her because I really do think she grew and developed. Anyways, this is lovely. She can be, like I said, a hard to root for a character at first, but you just see her development, and I love it. I enjoyed the relationships she gains in the book. She kind of is this lone wolf in the beginning, and then she gains these relationships, and she kind of fixes some relationships in her past that have become kind of tense. And so I just really enjoyed this one. I have read many historical fictions by Taylor Jenkins Reid, many books by her, and I have enjoyed them. Coming in at number 8 is The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. This is another historical romance. And this one I did end up giving it like a 4.5, 5-star. So this is more of a darker side of historical romance. And this follows Dorian Blackwell, who is a like ruthless villain. He is wealthy and will stop at nothing to get vengeance to those who wronged him. And he gets what he wants, and currently that's Farrah Lee Mackenzie, who is the heroine. So Farrah is strong, but she possesses a powerful secret that threatens her life. So Dorian kind of propositions her this like marriage of convenience where he can protect her, and in exchange like for her protection, he will be able to bring down his enemies with this secret. But Farrah kind of has some terms of her own. She's not just going to take it and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this marriage of convenience. I got some things that I want. And it goes from there. This is such like a lovely dark book. You would think those two words can't go together, but I love Farrah and Dorian's love story. It is definitely, it spans from childhood. This like starts when she's in childhood. You get to see her past and kind of how she was brought up, and you get to see Dorian and his past and kind of the traumatic things that both of these characters went through in their childhood, which kind of connects them on a deeper level. So this is, like I said, it is an emotional read because both Dorian and Farrah have been through so much in their lives. They are absolute soulmates. This book has so much angst. I really enjoyed it. There are like the tropes of soulmates, scarred or damaged hero, because Dorian is definitely a damaged hero. And then there's a bit of captor-captive in the beginning that kind of clears up pretty quickly, but there is some. I really enjoyed this one, and that is why it's number 8. Coming in at number 7 is The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. This is a contemporary romance, and it is like clean, closed-door romance, so if that's something you're looking for, that is definitely something you would find in this book. I did end up giving this one, I think, a 4.5 or a 5 star. I definitely really enjoyed it. Just follow Emma, and Emma has dreamed of being a screenwriter her entire life. However, she is also a full-time caretaker for her father. However, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity comes along for her to rewrite a rom-com script for a famous screenwriter. But it's not just any screenwriter, it is Charlie Yates, who is a screenwriter she has idolized for years. So Emma soon realizes, though, it might be too good to be true, and Charlie doesn't want help with the rewrite of his awful, as she puts it, script. But he has a change of heart and their journey begins. This is another like emotional romance where definitely the characters are dealing with things in their lives that are very like traumatic, and they come together and they create this beautiful romance, or have this beautiful romance. This is such a feel-good story with both emotional and lighthearted moments. I really enjoyed this peek into the world of screenwriting. I thought that was really interesting. Emma and Charlie perfectly complemented each other in an opposites kind of way, and I really enjoyed their banter back and forth. This, I said, is minimal to clean in as far as spice goes. And I loved the line dancing scene. That was so much fun. The guinea pig, the diving board / bathroom scene is stunning. And I love how well written that is. This is a workplace romance. They do work together. It is Grumpy Sunshine. Definitely check your triggers on this one. There are quite a few. Anyways, some of the triggers are like death of a parent, cancer, divorce, and then parent with an illness. So I really enjoyed this one, and definitely check it out if you haven't. I really enjoyed Catherine Center books. Coming in at number 6 is a new to me author, and the book is The Brazen Blue Stocking by Tracy Sumner. This is another historical romance. Definitely this was the year of historical romance for me. This one I did give a 5 star to. I absolutely enjoyed it. But this follows Lady Hildegard Templeton, who does not conform to society expectations for a woman of her station. She's created an organization for women about to get married called the Duchess Society. And so she has this wild notion to marry for love, which is just not something a woman of her station does. Wild idea, right? And then so Tobias Streeter is the bastard son of a viscount, and he's the king of London's sordid streets. And he needs the Duchess Society to find him a wife. However, he wants a wife not for love, but to expand his worth in society's eyes, because it is class difference. He is a self-made man, and he is looking to kind of like have his wife pave his way into society. And so he needs someone of a higher social class than him. And in comes the Duchess Society, which obviously is where he meets Lady Hildegard Templeton. I just loved Hildy and Tobias as characters, and their love story was so unique and lovely. Their chemistry was just so intense, just from like the first page, their first meeting. You could just tell it like crackled across the page. I love a self-made man so much, which is why I love Tobias. I love the premise too in this story, where they are looking like for a significant other for one, and then they end up falling in love, because the whole premise is Lady Hildegard Templeton is come to help him from this organization to help him find a wife. And he already has one kind of in store who Hildy knows, and obviously things change. That's all I'm going to say. And I just loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the premise. I loved the chemistry. I loved the banter. I loved a strong female character. And I love a self-made man. So this was just a recipe like that Tara was going to love. This was a book made for Tara. It had everything she enjoys. Coming in at number 5 is An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. This is the third one in the Bridgerton series, and so far by far my favorite, or one of my favorites I should say. And I did end up giving this one a 5-star. And I just want to thank Crystal over at Books Forever After. I wouldn't have picked this one up as quickly as I did without her recommendation. So this is a Cinderella retelling, and this follows Sophie. She's the daughter of an earl but forced to be a servant to her stepmother. Sophie sneaks away to a masquerade ball where she meets Benedict, and they enjoy one lovely night together, dancing and talking, but obviously Sophie must go. And Benedict tries to look for Sophie, but he never seems to find her. And in every ball he goes to, every event, he's kind of always in the back of his head is looking for her, but he has never managed it. So he stumbles upon Sophie, a housemaid, and rescues her and begins to fall for her, but she has changed. She just looks different than when she was at the masquerade. So he does not recognize her, and it kind of goes from there of will he be able to fall in love with Sophie as he's starting to fall in love with her when he has this woman in the back of his head that he's still looking for, and he doesn't realize that they're the same person. So I really felt for Sophie in this book. She really did have to endure a lot, but she definitely would put Benedict in his place if he needed. I loved that part of it. Benedict is such a romantic in this book. I really enjoyed how Sophie really saw to the heart of Benedict, even at times when his family did not. She just really knew him and saw him. And I felt like that really worked for Benedict. I also liked how Sophie got to know the Bridgerton sisters and Violet. That came into play because she went to work in their house. And I loved seeing that. I love seeing that relationship. Love Violet and just how she always knows her children's hearts. In each book that really shows, and I loved it so much. It's so good. Coming in at number 4 is another new to me author, and that one is Never Blow a Kiss by Lindsay Lovis. This is obviously another historical romance. I gave this one a 5-star. So Emily is a governess with a dark past. She is newly recruited into a secret network of governesses that spy on the ton, and she kind of reports back to someone called the Dove, who kind of runs this secret network. And so Zach is an ex-soldier turned railroad magnate. He also hunts killers for the Metropolitan Police. They both end up in the same places because both are looking for clues to a killer on the loose. As they get closer, Emily's secret could destroy them both. I loved the balance between the romance and mystery subplot in this book. Emily and Zach's chemistry was sizzling. So many times while reading this book, I found myself laughing out loud. Loved the idea of a secret society of governesses. I thought that was such a unique aspect in a book that I hadn't read from before. I loved that Emily is streetwise, and I really enjoyed that she was of the working class because I don't know if I've read very many governess books. I absolutely loved their meet cute. It just shows Emily's daringness, and I just love it. It just shows her personality, and it's just such a fun and memorable meet cute. Definitely check out some Lindsay Lovis if you haven't already. This was my first read with her, and I ended up reading her contemporary witchy romance. I'm in the middle of her second book in this series, and I definitely want to read her next contemporary witchy series book that's coming out. So I'm definitely keeping up with her because I really enjoy her as a writer. But this coming in at number 3 is The Beast Takes a Bride by Julianne Long. This is another historical romance. I ended up giving this one a 5-star. So this one is part of a series, The Palace of Rogues, and so this is actually number 8 in the series. However, I had read none prior to this, and I still could keep up with the book. I definitely want to go back and read more from the series, but I could definitely read it as a standalone. So this follows Alexandria and Magnus. They have been married but separated for the past 5 years after a betrayal shortly after their nuptials. They are reunited because Alexandria finds herself in the middle of a scandal. Magnus gives Alexandria a directive to confront the Ton together, help their reputations, then he will banish her to another country. However, while they're carrying out the directive, feelings and passion begin to arise. I laughed out loud and swooned while reading this book so many times. The characters have so much chemistry and tension between them. I love how they are two flawed characters that come together. I really love that in a book. I also loved the setting of the Grand Palace on the Thames and all the side characters that were so much fun, and they added to the loveliness of the story. This was just one of my favorites. This is a marriage in trouble, second chance romance, and I absolutely loved it. Coming in at number 2 is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. This one is a contemporary romance, and I did end up giving this one a 5-star. This follows Vanessa, and she is a travel vlogger and lives life to the fullest because her mother and sister have both passed away before the age of 30. So she kind of just has this outlook on life of where she wants to live life to the fullest before potentially she dies, because she feels like since her sister died and since her mother died before the age of 30 from this genetic disease, that she might as well. And however, her half-sister ends up leaving Vanessa with custody of her niece. And one night the baby is just being fussy, and her neighbor is Adrian, and he comes over and he's like, hey, I can't really sleep. Can, you keep it down? And in a nice way, I guess. And she's like, yeah, if I can make the baby stop crying, I would. And so he kind of is like, hey, how can I help? And he, takes the baby and he calms the baby down. And she's just like, oh, baby whisperer. So this was just such an emotional, laugh out loud, slow burn romance that I absolutely loved. This deals with heavy topics, but Abby Jimenez just really knows how to weave emotional with funny or comedic scenes, and she's just a master of it, I feel like, because the emotional scenes don't take away from the love story, and I just love that she can do that. There's some lighthearted scenes in this. I just really enjoyed the romance and the found family aspect in this. It's just lovely. And I'm thinking that you guys are probably going to be surprised at my number 1, but it is another new to me author. Again, it's been the year of new to me authors and the year of historical romances. But coming in at number 1 is No Rest for the Wicked by Lauren Smith. So this one is a historical romance that I gave a 5-star to. This was actually one of our picks for Tea and Biscuits with Tara and B Historical Romance Book Club. And over on B's channel, I'll link it above. Lauren Smith actually came on and kind of talked to us about her books and about this book, and it was really fun and just so intriguing to get to talk to her. And so this follows Roberta. The ship she was sailing on was attacked by pirates. She disguises herself as a cabin boy and is taken captive by the pirates. Captain Dominic Gray sees through her disguise and gives her 2 choices: share his bed and live life on the ship as a lady, or sleep on the floor and remain on the ship as his cabin boy. So she refuses to be seduced by a pirate and remains a cabin boy, but the more time they spend together, the more they both realize this attraction may be too much to resist. And I just love it. I just love it so much. I love the pirate romance. set on the high seas. It was fun and action-packed without detracting from the lovely romance. I really enjoyed that they both had this love for the ocean and they shared it. It's what part like connected them. I loved seeing how characters would make sense and like would connect based off like their interests. And so I really think she showed that in this book. I really enjoyed too that Roberta is a fierce heroine and Dominic is a damaged hero with a dark past. But he really cares for his crew and that comes across. He definitely has a dark past and he is a damaged hero, but he cares for the people in his life. This does, obviously, one of the tropes is damaged hero, captor captive. This is forced proximity. I just love this book so much. It was just a breath of fresh air when I read it. And again, I don't know what else to say other than I just loved it. I loved every aspect of it. It was so fun. Just a lovely book. As you can tell, I tabbed it up because there was just so much lovely writing and lovely quotes in it and things that I wanted to remember. There's actually one quote in it that I will read to you just because I loved it so much. So it says, "You are like the sea," he thought, "deep, fathomless, full of fury, and yet capable of such soothing peace. I could die happy in your arms." And I was just like, okay, you got me. All right. So lovely book, beautiful, beautiful cover, stunning cover. Stunning book. This was my number one. So those were my top 10 books of 2024. Let me know if you've read and enjoyed any of them and your thoughts in the comments below. If you've watched to the end and you just want to let me know that you are here, go ahead and leave me a pirate emoji, obviously for No Rest for the Wicked, which was my number one book of 2024. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. Bye.